I once had a student that I believed had everything going for her. She was smart, dressed in stylish clothes, hung out with the popular kids. I truly valued this student. She was a talented debater and won many debate tournaments for our school. But I secretly resented her. I believed at the time all her successes and accomplishments were because of her economic privilege. As a child who grew up in poverty, my beliefs were limited in thinking that such people shouldn't really get credit for their accomplishments because they already had everything going for them. And at one point in this class, this student delivered an individual debate performance that changed my life forever. In her closing arguments, she spoke of managing ongoing struggles. She spoke of how she had lost family members at an early age to breast cancer and how she had to consider herself as a high school senior, whether she would need to get a preemptive double mastectomy to protect her own life. Is it fair to say that we've all made a hasty judgment about a student at least once in our career? So the questions become, how can we then gain rapport with a child who sees the world through a lens we've never seen through? How do we promote a classroom that values diversity and innovation without honoring views that are inconsistent with our own? Or considering innovations that we think are impossible to implement? As educators, I would imagine we all like to think we are reflective, kind, and empathetic toward our students. The truth is, we all have certain barriers hardwired in our brains that keep us from fully empathizing with others and connecting with them in an authentic way. And please don't think I'm here to chastise anyone. I just want to use a little brain science to highlight how we can, as individuals, be more intentionally reflective in a way in which we usually just stop short. And this is essential to promoting a learning community built on empathy and mutual understanding, which I believe and research supports is necessary before attempting to transform the classroom using mobile technology or any other innovation. Although our brains are complex and powerful and we're capable of amazing acts of altruism, we're all prone to certain innate biases that undermine our ability to empathize and show compassion to others. I want to talk about some of these biases and then offer how we can best overcome them. And that way, we can better connect with others and emulate to our students what it means to be patient and understanding. Let's all agree that there are times when we get frustrated or upset with others for failing to live up to our expectations or standards. This is because our brains are wired in such a way that we often fail to consider circumstances that may cause a person to act in a particular way, especially if it's a way that's disagreeable to us or something that we don't understand. So take, for instance, the curse of knowledge. This is an actual phenomenon in which educated people end up forgetting more from our education than others have even learned. We fail to scaffold our teaching because we assume others have the background to understand. So when we seemingly attempt to encourage students through a difficult concept by saying, oh, you can do this, this is easy, we're actually highlighting this lack of awareness of where the student or colleague is in the process of learning. What's easy for us, it's the outcome of years of practice and study, and we have to remember that. This curse or cognitive bias stands in the way of our ability to connect with others if we don't adopt a beginner's mindset ourselves. What kind of language does a novice learner need to understand a concept? What are the sensitivities and frustrations a novice learner might have? And what are the insights a novice might actually bring to a problem? And while these questions highlight the benefits of having a beginner's mindset, there's actually another significant reason why we should step back from our perceived authority and our expertise. About 20 years ago, researchers articulated a cognitive bias that is all too familiar. We often consider ourselves more knowledgeable about a topic than we really are. This is referred to as the Dunning Kruger effect. And while our students often suffer from this, it's really us and our overestimation of what we think we know that can lead to a lack of willingness to consider information we don't understand. That includes information that may come from our students, some of whom have experiences and insights that are well beyond their years. Not recognizing this is referred to as fundamental attribution error, an inclination that causes us to immediately attribute others' actions to who they are as people and not because of their environment. But we often don't do the same for ourselves. When someone does something we don't like, we tend to assign blame to some aspect of that person, not some factor beyond their control. But when we do something similar, we often make excuses and sometimes rationalize our behavior. So how can we expect these students to innovate if they can't expect us to be flexible and understanding? At its core, your brain wants to believe that you're always on the right track. The problem is that's not always the case. And because of this, your brain is preventing you from authentically connecting with others. The problem is that we have a limited or narrow view of most topics simply because of where we live, who we hang out with, what our caregivers and community have passed on to us, and who we choose to listen to. And in an ever-shrinking world in which we're more in contact with those who are different from us, it's critical that we tame our instinct to believe only what makes us comfortable. This error in judgment is insidious because it acts as an impediment to our ability to truly connect with others, to consider the perspectives of others when those perspectives conflict with our own long-held beliefs. And I'm telling you, these relationships with our students matter, and even after many years, they never forget how you made them feel. And how you make them feel is directly related to how motivated they will be to learn and to innovate. We have what it takes to put into check the parts of our brain that may dampen our ability to show empathy and compassion, especially to those students who may not have that in their lives. We owe that to our students because being a teacher means more than sharing our mind. It means sharing our heart as well. Thank you.